Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into careers, which is, super relevant if you're figuring out your path, especially maybe if you're at uni, just graduated, or even thinking about moving to Australia for work. We've got some recent data from the Australian Taxation Office, the ATO, and our mission really is to pull out some maybe surprising insights about high-paying jobs, both the ones needing degrees and maybe more interestingly, the ones that don't, should help map out the opportunities. Okay, let's get into it. So I guess the first thing that jumps out from this ATO data, it's actually pretty remarkable, is that, well, you don't always need that traditional university degree to earn a really significant salary in Australia. That might be a bit of a shock for some people.
It really is. Yeah. And this isn't just theory, right? This data is pulled straight from actual tax returns. We're talking the 2022-23 financial year. And these roles, the Australian Bureau of Statistics specifically identifies them as jobs that, well, typically don't need a bachelor's degree or higher.
Yeah.
Often it's more about, certificate level qualifications, maybe vocational training, or just solid relevant experience.
Okay, that really changes the perspective, doesn't it? So if we're looking at these non-degree paths, what roles are actually, topping the list for average income?
Well, right at the top, averaging, let me see, around $134,000 a year, you've got drillers, miners, and shot firers.
Wow.
Yeah, these are highly skilled jobs, operating drilling rigs, handling mining equipment, even detonating explosives. It's often in pretty tough conditions. They usually do vocational training, like a Certificate 2 or 3. These are those practical sort of hands-on courses you get maybe at TFAFE or through apprenticeships, get your job ready fast.
Yeah.
And I think the demand, the specific skills, the conditions, that's what drives those salaries up.
That's definitely not the kind of job title that springs to mind first when you think high earner. What else is up there in the non-degree space?
Just behind them, pretty close actually, around $133,000 on average, are train or tram drivers.
Okay.
Again, vital roles, right? Infrastructure, transport. Requires specific qualifications, maybe a Cert 3 for light rail or Cert 3 for train driving. Big responsibility, specialized work that factors into the pay. And then rounding out the top 3 for these non-degree jobs, electrical distribution trades workers. They're pulling in roughly $129,000.
Like lines workers.
Exactly. Includes electrical lines workers, technical cable jointers, super important for keeping the power grid running. Usually needs a Certificate 3, plus quite a bit of on-the-job training, often a couple of years at least.
So yeah, really hands-on, vital stuff. And just to put those numbers in perspective, the average Aussie income for that same period was about, what, $74,000?
That's right.
So many of these non-degree jobs are paying nearly double the average. That's significant. Are there others in that top tier? Any other types of roles?
Oh, absolutely. The top 10 list is quite diverse, actually. You've got roles like other hospitality, retail, or service managers. They're averaging over $127,000.
Okay.
Police officers are on there, too, around $115,000. And safety inspectors just under that at about $114,000. So it really shows, a pretty broad range of opportunities that don't necessarily need that university piece of paper.
It's fascinating, yeah. Such strong earning potential outside those typical uni pathways. But, okay, let's flip the coin. What about the absolute top earners in Australia? Overall, the picture changes quite a bit here, I imagine.
It does, dramatically. When you look at the whole landscape, the medical field really dominates. Surgeons are consistently number one. Their average salary is, well, it's staggering, almost $472,500 a year.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many of them, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Just over 4,200. Then you've got anesthetists right behind them, averaging about $447,000. Again, highly specialized, incredibly demanding roles, years and years of training involved.
Right, extensive education. But it's not just doctors at the very top, is it? What's the highest non-medical role in that elite group?
The highest earner outside of medicine. That would be financial dealers. This category includes stockbrokers. They're averaging over $355,000.
Okay, still a huge number.
Definitely. And here's an interesting little fact. The highest paying job title that also has the most people doing it.
Yeah.
That's chief executive officers or managing directors. They average nearly $195,000 a year, and there are over 230,000 of them. And it's probably worth mentioning, too, that the incomes for most of these top professions, they've actually gone up since the previous year's tax stats. Suggests demand for these top skills is still growing.
So pulling this all together, what does it really mean for you, the listener, if you're maybe weighing up career options, thinking about skills, maybe even that move to Australia? This data, it's not just about the money, is it? It seems to highlight different pathways, maybe ones you hadn't considered, and the kinds of training that really count.
Exactly. And maybe putting these high earners into context helps, too. Like, what does the average Australian actually earn? For that same 2022-23 period, the average income was $74,240. The median, which is perhaps more representative of the middle ground, was $55,868.
Right.
There's slightly more recent ABS data, too, from November 2024, showing average weekly earnings for full-timers were up over $1,975. That works out to over $102,700 annually.
Okay, so the average is climbing.
It is. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, looking at the tax brackets, almost 45% of Australians, the biggest group, fall somewhere between $45,000 and $120,000. So while those top figures are huge, there's clearly potential for solid earnings across a wider spectrum than maybe we assume.
Yeah, what really seems clear from this deep dive is that high earning potential in Australia. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's not limited to just one path. Whether you're looking at those strong vocational trades or the super specialized professions needing years of uni, there's just a real breadth of opportunity. It underlines the value of, well, all sorts of different skills and training.
And I think that leads to a really important question for you listening right now. Beyond just the salary figures, what actually matters most to you? Like, what kind of work environment are you looking for? What kind of impact do you want to make? What sort of training commitment feels right for your long-term goals? Really makes you think what stands out to why you most about these numbers and these different career trajectories.